So I thought you might like to see me doing some of these cuttings. These are Taunton Deane Perennial Kale. I just stuck 3 shoots into a pot in September, I think, and they're obviously all rooted now. They're all growing away nicely. There won't be much in the way of roots on them, but because they're all, you know, in a single pot, I want to get them separated and potted on into this. This is just homemade compost. And so let's take a look. Just ease them out of the bottom of the pot. Oh, there we go. You can see quite a nice bit of root growth on them, which is what we want. So I'm going to just tease these apart, trying not to damage the roots on them too much. As I said, they won't have a huge amount of root on them at this point, but I'm putting them in nice big pots so that they can grow away in these pots until I plant them out. And I'm going to be planting them out in about probably March time, and my objective is to have a really good crop off them in May and June, which is when we're quite short of kale, because all the annual kale is going to seed at that point. And so this comes in really handy. Now what I'm actually going to do with these is I'm going to plant them probably 9 plants to a bed, and my beds are about, well, roughly a metre square. So 9 beds, 9 plants to a metre square, which is ridiculously close. But I'm hoping that what that does is stimulate a lot of very, relatively small leaves, a kind of profusion of leaves. And I've tried this with Brussels sprouts and it works really well as a technique. So we'll try it with these. And I don't need these to grow on into mature plants, because I've got loads of mature plants and I can always take more cuttings. So basically that's what we end up with. And these should grow away really happily now. They won't mind that little bit of disruption. Obviously they grew from a cutting with no roots at all, so they should be perfectly happy like that. So we're a bit unusual in the way that we do our perennial kales. We've got a few plants that have been around for a couple of years, but mostly we're really taking a cutting either in spring or in autumn, and we're growing that on, we're planting it the following year, and then we're harvesting that probably for no more than 18 months, I guess. And then we're taking that plant out and replacing it with another cutting. So we're constantly on this cycle of taking cuttings and then removing plants. But the real benefit of a perennial kale is that it's at its peak really when the annual kales are going to seed. So that's kind of the April, May, June time frame. That's when your perennial kales really come into their own. You can pick them all year round, of course, but they're just at their best really, I think, in the spring. And so that's really how we use them. We're just really using them just to fill that gap in, the hungry gap, as people call it. And it works really well. We've got a really nice stock plant at the moment out on the allotment that will be harvested in spring, and all the cuttings will be taken off that plant. And so my name's Steve, this is the Seaside Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.